Hello, it's Peter Wright and Kathleen Beauvais in Ontario, Canada, and a snow-covered Ontario, Canada, but with bright sunshine, so we're not complaining. And we're here today with episode number 86 of the Yakking Show. This is where we talk about life, business, and more, and we bring you tips and ideas for the changing world we're living in today, very much changing. As always, we have interesting guests, and today we're delving into the food world, but I don't want to give the game away. But before I hand over to my co-host, Kathleen, I just ask you, if you like our show, please subscribe. It helps us with YouTube, and it means you won't miss the next exciting episode and all the other exciting episodes still to come. You'll be warned. So that's enough from me. It's my job now to welcome Kathleen. Hello, Kathleen. How are you doing today?
Hello, Peter. I'm doing great, thank you. And I'm so enjoying the sunshine today. Thank you all so very much for tuning into our show. We so appreciate you and we love reading your comments. So please keep them coming. And if anyone out there is interested in becoming a guest on our show, please don't hesitate to reach out to either Peter or myself. And as Peter mentioned, we do have a special guest with us again today. His name is Jeff Davis. My apologies. Jeff,
hello.
Welcome. So how are you?
Good. Hello, Kathleen and Peter.
Hi, Jeff.
It's my pleasure to be on your fine podcast.
Well, you are the founder and owner of a company called Island Sun. It's a company that creates a unique blend of hot sauces. And I actually enjoyed reading your backstory on your website. But for our audience, can you please tell our audience a little bit about your background and what led you into starting this business?
Well, thanks. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed the story. It's a true story, and a little bit of background on me. I was in marketing in various capacities for about 20 years before taking this path. And so, as you guys would know, I mean, like it's a lot of work, marketing, but what cuts down on the work is if you have a really great product and have really great service, then it's really easy to market something like that. So I was sitting in numerous marketing departments as a graphic designer and a kind of communications person. And, our task was to take a mediocre product and try and sell it. And, it's challenging when there's a lot of competition and essentially in a larger companies, they're trying to shave dollars and, make something that's more efficient, not necessarily the Edsel, so to speak. If you guys are familiar with the Edsel.
Yeah.
I'm dating myself a little bit, I guess, but I'm not quite that old. But so my whole time being in departments like that, I was always thinking to myself, it would just be so nice if I had like a very simple product that spoke to what I love and that people could use in a healthful way and nothing that's gonna really mess you up too bad, I hope. but it's and my dad, my background is quite a mix. My mother is French Canadian, Métis, and my dad is from Barbados, which people sometimes are shocked to discover. But my dad's ancestors were there since the late 1600s in Barbados. They were indentured servants. So during the British Civil War back in 1650 or thereabouts, the Irish and the Scottish basically were decimated, and the prisoners of war were brought to the Caribbean to work there. So that's how my dad's ancestors got to Barbados, and they were some of the first kind of English or from the Europe, the first ancestors, or people to be there. So outside of the indigenous natives who were wiped out, yes. Sadly. But yeah, so it's kind of funny because not everybody knows that history. If anyone's interested, look up red legs. It's basically my ancestors wore kilts. Mm-hmm. Their legs became very red, burnt in the sun.
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
chopping down sugarcane or tobacco or whatever they're growing.
Yeah.
Mainly sugarcane, and that's where the name comes from, and it's kind of a lost bit of history.
Right.
I know that a lot of Irish people are now looking at the roots that have ended up in Barbados, and we're sort of lost track. So it's a really, I mean, if you go down that rabbit hole, it's pretty interesting on its own. But so anyways, my dad he immigrated to Canada when he was 19. He met my mom and they had kids, 2 boys, and he decided it was a good idea to start feeding his young boys hot sauce when they were pretty young. So I remember my first experience was on spaghetti. So my dad made spaghetti and he doused it with this yellow hot sauce with a parrot on the bottle. I remember vividly as a kid, and just going, wow, like this is crazy. It's too hot, but then going for another bite, and I was instantly hooked. And my brother, not so much. But so anyways, that I've always been looking for that sauce in shops and little retailers and shops all around southwestern Ontario. Couldn't find it. So, and the stuff that I did find is pretty, it's a more common variety, and they use, I'm not going to name any names, but there's a lot of simulated flavor.
Mhm.
So they're not using what they would use on hand in the island. They're using like a simulated product.
Right.
So in 2018, my wife and I went to, God bless her, she puts up with a lot. We went to Barbados because I wanted to sort of do a historical kind of travel around the island. And I said openly, I'm going to try every single hot sauce in Barbados and pick what I want to do when I go back home. So, so we did that. We took a tour around luckily Barbados is very small. So we did a tour of the south, and we did a tour of the north side of the island. My dad's from St. John's Parish, which is, if anyone knows Rihanna, that's where her father is from. So her father was a Fenty, and my dad's Davis, and there were other kind of families, but not too many more than maybe 5 or 6 families in that parish that were kind of a similar ilk. So so there's some sort of connection between me and Rihanna. I've never met her. I would love to, of course, but her dad was a redleg, apparently.
Okay.
So,
Interesting.
So we've got that in common. I can also shake a mean booty if I'm dancing too, but I mean that's not on par with her.
Okay,
But,
so hey Jeff, I've got to jump in here because Barbados is, apart from its hot sauces, Barbados is known for its really good cricketers. But from what I can recall, people who wore kilts didn't play cricket. So where did the cricket angle come in?
You know what? I know there's some really famous cricketers, cricketeers there in Barbados. I'm not a huge cricket expert. I would say that they probably brought cricket from the British colony, like it's more the imperial, sort of side.
That's right, because they play internationally as the West Indies from all the islands, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and they're really good.
So that's another interesting side is that India, there's a lot of like India flavor and people in Barbados, and people from India and Pakistan, and they're huge cricketers as well. Like I know, I've seen it. I've seen them playing. It's pretty amazing. I mean, dressed up in all their white clothing, and it draws a huge crowd in Barbados. It's huge.
Well, let's get back to your sauces for a moment.
Yeah, sure.
Tell our audience a little bit about the process that you currently go through to develop your sauces. And I take it that you source the ingredients locally as much as you can. Isn't that right?
Yeah. So I work with Fennings Farms they're in New Hamburg.
Oh,
Yeah,
So
we know them.
yeah, we do.
Eck Fenning and the gang there are they're awesome. I look forward to working more with them in future on like new products, as well, like trying to source things locally. Like the main thing I get from them is my turmeric. So I get organic turmeric root from them, and so I'm not using a powder. It's actually the root. Some people think I'm using ginger, but it's not ginger. It's actually turmeric, which is a cousin of ginger. So and it gives it that wicked yellow color. Actually, I'll show you.
Yes.
I've
Nice.
Yeah,
got a bottle of it here.
excellent.
So it's a yellowy. I don't know. It's sorry, the angle's not so great, but it's a yellowy kind of a color, mainly from the turmeric. It also has a lot of mango in it. I get fresh mango chunks. Obviously, some of the ingredients don't grow in Canada, so like the hot peppers. But I'm trying to source some in Ontario now from Ontario growers.
Excellent.
Trying to do as much as I can locally, whatever I can get. If it's not buying it directly from Ontario, it's buying it from a business in Ontario.
Sure.
So
Can you?
so yeah, I'm working that does that explain?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got to jump in there and say to you that my son came here from Zimbabwe for 2017-18, and we started a vegetable growing operation as a business to help him immigrate. It didn't work, but he went back. But in those 2 years, we grew Scotch bonnet, habanero, jalapeno, red chili, and a few other hot peppers, and we sold them at farmers markets, and they went like wildfire. And there were other people growing them as well. And we had our surplus stuff processed into not sauces like yours, but relishes and sauces by a commercial kitchen in Milton. A woman called Heather. I can't think what her name is. It's
so was it like a mash, like a pepper mash?
Yeah, but the reason I mentioned it to you is she is in touch with a whole lot of pepper and chili growers that she uses for her ingredients, and she's very helpful. So I'm sure she would also pass on the sources, or where you could get all the stuff. I'll send you that link separately.
Yeah, please do. That sounds great.
But they were hot, and we had a few Portuguese people at farmers markets who really liked the habaneros and the Scotch bonnets. So I'm going to ask you another one. I was looking at your website, and your really hot sauce, your triple R, you've come up with a name, the tagline, the rosy red rectum. So that reminds, there we go. And I guess the tagline is because of the effect it has on a certain part of one's anatomy. So
yeah.
The name of that sauce, Jeff.
Yeah. So
how do you pronounce
my uncle, my Uncle Joe, my dad comes from a family of 14 kids, and Uncle Joe was kind of like, they call him Shrek. That's his nickname because he's a really big guy. He's pretty boisterous, and I heard him as a kid say that sauce is triple R, that triple R, man, or triple R brand, he would say. And I asked him, of course, what that meant, and he said, man, it'll give you a rosy red rectum. And so, like that's where it came from. And I mean, of course, you gobble it down and you pay the price, but it's but it's funny. I've changed the label on it because the label used to just say very clearly rosy red rectum, and I got that on a t-shirt, and I don't think people enjoyed seeing that word in really large text on my shirt. So I switched the label so it's a little smaller. It's a little bit of the, more of the.
Okay, I have to ask. I've been asking for a little bit now. How do you pronounce the name of the sauce?
Bajan Tyga. Bajan Tyga. So here's the story behind it. Bajan is the term you would use for someone from Barbados.
Right.
It's also the patois that they sort of like, the accent and how they speak is known as Bajan. But you would call somebody from Barbados a Bajan. And it reminds me of Cajun, like the way you would say that. And then Tyga is obviously just slang for tiger. And I was gonna call it Bajan Tiger, Tiger,
Yeah,
but
right.
there's a boxer. There's a boxer from Barbados with that name, and I didn't want to get into trouble with
Oh,
Right.
him.
Right.
So
So you change the spelling. That's clever. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's slang. It's just slang, and it's fun. And I mean, the tiger element is actually the from India. So what I'm doing is adding ghost peppers to the sauce as well. So
Right.
those aren't native to Barbados, but those are more from India. So
Okay.
or Bangladesh. So that where there are many tigers.
Yes,
So
of course.
so
Well, I
yeah.
got to tell you, you're not too far out of line with that tagline, because it shows you how effective a good tagline is. I left South Africa in 1990. So what's that? 30 years ago. And there was a fast food chain there called Nando's Chicken, and they did
Yes,
lots. They're all over the world now.
Piri Piri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of their radio ads said, with a guy with an East Indian accent, which I can't do properly, said, "Our wings, I think it was wings or chicken legs, are so hot they'll have you doing handstands in the shower." And that was the tagline. And I've remembered
That's
that to this
awesome.
day. So yeah, so you're not far off with that one. So
Nice.
it's memorable. What
It's
about
yeah.
are you developing any new products?
Yeah, well, I've got a few things in the works, more collaborations with local. So it's right now it's a lot about supporting local. There's some really exciting things happening. I'm really excited about I connected with a local place called the Munch Box, which is a local snack delivery place. And the guy that I know there, named Carl Stubaker, he he took my sauce one step further, and he's trying to create a popcorn with my sauce basically freeze dried into a powder
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
putting it on this popcorn. And I mean, I'm so excited to see what happens. But he basically showed me this morning. He showed me the kind of product that's produced when they make this powder, and it's basically like chunks of super freeze dried sauce. And he said, I've been eating the little chunks of sauce, and they're amazing. So I mean, it's like you've already got your product, just put them in a bottle. So, but it's so that thing is that project. I'm really looking forward to see how that goes. Also, I'm kind of trying to. We were talking about this earlier. The background. My mom's side is French Canadian Métis, and so during the holidays, meat pie is a big deal, tortilla.
mhm.
And so my ancestors on that side, my grandmother makes this amazing relish which goes on tortilla. So I'd like to kind of my wife and I are talking about developing something along those lines, maybe a little spicier. So it's something that's in line with something we really love. So we'll see how that goes.
Mm.
I'm doing research right now on it, and looking at kind of the sourcing of good fruits and vegetables for this. So Fennings will definitely be I'll be talking to them shortly. But yeah, I also get supplies through Flanagan's and McMillan's locally. So
Great.
so there's lots of options locally for this. But
So,
yeah, that might give you a little hint.
yes.
I'm
So tell us,
also working.
how
Sorry,
do you use your sauces?
how do I use my sauces?
Yeah, so do you
So
add them, are they like dips? Do you add them to main dishes? Or how would somebody, if they were to buy a jar of your sauce, how would you use it?
well, you could drink it if you like. I've seen people do that.
Carefully.
If you have very high tolerance, you can just drink it. But I like it personally on a steak instead of horseradish,
Oh,
or like it's a mustardy sauce with a really decent sting to it. So and it to me it goes well on simple things like hamburgers hot dogs. If you want to like spice it up and replace the mustard component, you could do that with that. In Barbados, you would find this type of sauce on chicken and rice, or you would find it on flying fish. You would so breaded fish. You would find it on, well, you even find it at the breakfast table in Barbados, like for their, eggs and sausage and stuff like that. Like I honestly, I eat a lot of it, and I'm a testament to how addictive it is. And yeah, I use it on everything. In Barbados, it's like a table sauce. So here, I was kind of missing it, and that was part of the thing. So yeah, I put it out on the table most of the time. You can put it on kind of anything, even something that they don't use it in Barbados for is a charcuterie board. So I've been selling at many little shops and doing pop-ups and stuff. And one of the great surprises was doing a pop-up in Stratford. I was beside some cheese companies. So they were right away, they tasted my sauce and they were like, pair it with this cheese. So we sat and we basically put sauce on the different cheeses that they were all offering, and we were cross-selling. So people would come and they'd buy the cheese and they'd go buy that hot sauce for it. Or I would say this hot sauce goes perfectly on the cheese. And there was a lot of real great business there, and a great synergy. And it really does taste it. There's food pairings where on their own they taste okay, or good on their own, but then you put them together and somehow there's that magical chemistry, and you can taste all of it. And that was happening with it was a sheep's cheddar that they put it on, like a mild cheddar. It just brought all the nice flavors out in that. Also, like as a dip with crackers, my wife Jody puts it with makes an aioli style sauce with mayonnaise. We'll make I mix it with honey often. So if I also do that with the triple R. So but
puts a bit of sting to it, does it?
That's right. So if you cook wings and you toss it in some of my, like a 50-50 mix of my sauce and some honey, some local honey if possible, just mix them in with that, and it sticks really nicely to the wings, and you've got a nice addictive spicy tang to the wings.
Wow, very good.
Yeah.
Very good. We're getting towards the end of our time, Jeff, but very quickly, you've won a whole lot of awards. When I look at your website, you've won several awards for your sauces. Does this help when you're marketing your products?
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. I find the best, I mean, thanks for noticing that. I won the gluten-free hot sauce of the year last year for the Canadian Hot Sauce Awards. So that was a real feather in the cap, of course, because I'm involved in gluten-free boxes. I'm involved in, those types of sites and promotions. And, obviously having that title is pretty good.
Sure.
But
very good.
The one that I think is the ones that I think are more important are, or just as important, are from hot sauce reviewers. There's some in the States that have put me in their top 10, some in Canada that have put me in their top 10 from 2019. So being that was my first year of business, and getting those kind of that notoriety was really,
very good.
Helpful.
Very good.
So yeah, like I said, it's a product where you can buy the equivalent with a very synthesized, simulated product, or you can buy it done in a very artisanal micro batch fashion. And that's what I'm going for. And I don't want to sacrifice the quality. I enjoy cooking. I love it. I do everything myself. I wash the bottles. cook the sauce. I've done all the graphic design. Oh, sorry. Here's my logo.
I see that. Yeah, very good.
Yeah. So I mean, I saved myself a lot of money. I didn't have to go to a company to do any of that stuff. So yeah, I'm just a one man team for now. I think my goals are very reasonable. And in my first year, I sold 1,000 bottles, and at that point, I looked at my wife and said, "Is it okay if I continue?" And she said, "Yeah," and we agreed.
Good.
And so the following year, I wanted to sell 5,000 bottles, and I sold almost 7,000. So
Wow,
so
well
things
done.
are going. So it's like 6 or 7 times the sales from year one. So this year, we'll see how it goes. I mean, COVID has hit everybody. It's
Sure.
really hard to project where things are going to go because of this. So,
But I got to
yeah.
jump in there. But because of the virus, more people are eating at home than ever have done,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So that could be a huge opportunity for you.
I actually think my timing was very lucky.
Mhm.
I actually moved to Amazon. One of my goals was to move to Amazon before 2020, and I did that. I got onto Amazon on, I think, January 1st or 2nd, and it was crazy because the country kind of shut down, but on the online sales just
Went up.
they just skyrocketed. So
That's right.
I went from selling 1 bottle a week to selling 3 bottles a day. So it was
Excellent.
Yeah,
Jeff, I hate to cut you off, but we're getting towards the end,
sure.
and we have to. Kathleen's got some really important questions because you've got
Oh,
to
yeah,
tell
sure.
people how to get your sauce. So back to Kathleen.
Right.
Well, you just asked it, Peter. So tell our listeners, please, Jeff, if
So
they're interested in buying, what did they do? Where did they go?
Well, thanks. If you go to my website, that's probably the easiest way to get it. It's islandsun.ca. So I'm sure the links will be below. And
Yes, they will be.
yeah, if you go there, there's a link to Amazon. There's also a listing of all of the retailers that I'm selling at currently and all the online ways to buy it. So it's not just Amazon. Amazon is its own thing, but I'm also planning to ship to the United States this year too. So it's
Excellent.
So it'll be in some shops down there, hopefully, and distributed down there. Yeah, so that's probably the best way to get me. The other thing is my Instagram account, which I check very frequently. So you can, it's island_sun_Canada at Instagram. So you can check that out.
We'll put that on. I got to ask, sorry, Kathleen, a very quick one. Because you're using quite a few of organic vegetables in the input, I found from my experience at farmers markets, a lot of people who go to farmers markets look specifically for products like yours, artisanal production, organic. Would you be open to selling at farmers markets if stallholders wanted to get from you?
Well, I do sell it at a few. My plan was to get it to retailers who also go to farmers markets. It is currently at the Woodstock Farmers Market, and I'm very aware of that one. I know that I have sold some wholesale to people who do go to the market as well. So it could also be there. The thing about the farmers market is not everything at the farmers market has to pass the stringent standards that you do when you're on a shelf. I've invested a lot of time and money to get it into the kind of premium end retail. So
that's fair enough. It comes back to, if anyone wants your product, whether it's to resell or for private consumption, get onto your website and
contact me.
Great.
Send me an email.
That's enough for me, Jeff. I'm going to hand it back to Kathleen. It's really good talking to you, and good luck with your future products. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.
Yes, best of luck to you, Jeff, and thank you so much for joining us. And thank you all for tuning into our show. We so appreciate your comments, so please keep them coming. And if anyone is interested in becoming a guest on the show, please don't hesitate to reach out to either Peter or myself. And until next time, bye-bye, everyone.